We live out in our old van, travel all across this land, me and you. And we'll end up hand in hand, somewhere down on the sand, just me and you. Just as free, free as we'll ever be. Just as free, free as we'll ever be.
I think the first thing I remember is, of course, the room and all the people surrounding me, and the news that Eddie had passed away. Going into the hospital room.
Tough moment.
Yeah. And seeing him. And thinking he just kissed me goodbye. I remember lots of people. I couldn't tell you who I talked to on the phone. People were telling me that they called me, and I answered the phone, and I don't remember that. When I went up to the 9th floor after the girls came in, and I went up to the 9th floor, and they told me that he was fighting for his life. It was like a roller coaster. And then when he held my hand and he started rubbing my thumb, I knew he knew I was there.
Well, and the first time he moved,
Yeah.
he was laying there in the trauma bay, and we thought maybe he's going to be alive for the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And they said this is it, and he just say goodbye. And then what we see is his leg coming up.
Yeah.
We said, why is his leg coming up? Why is his arm moving?
Why is he swallowing?
Love my wife so much.
Yeah. He wasn't going to give up, was he?
No, he has fought his way back. And I remember that day, I put a do not resuscitate on him. And Dr. Garcia asked me, Anita, what do you want to put it on? And I said, his heart. And she said, she looked at me so funny, and she said, Anita, his heart is perfect. And I looked at her dead in the eye, and I said, but if my God wants to take him home, he will stop his heart. And if he stops his heart, do not bring him back.
So we've got this song that's kind of become a theme song, you know, and I was there at least one time when we played it.
Yeah.
And it was kind of interesting because everyone, I mean, these are like professional nurses, doctors, and everyone just lost it. It was really emotional. And that's a song that's meant a lot. So what's it mean now, a year later, that song?
Well, when we first decided it was our song, that we don't have a lot of money, but all we need is love, that was why it was our song, because we were broke. But we loved each other so much we didn't need it. Now it is, him and I are free for the rest of our lives. And we can do whatever we want to do.
Yes.
I want to ask you what you remember as you first came to the hospital.
I remember not knowing what was going on. I had no idea. I didn't know if he had been in a car accident. I didn't know if he got shot or something. And then I remember walking into the room and seeing my mom. And she asked me and my sisters, do we know what happened? And we were like, no, we have no idea what happened. And then she told us, and it was very, very emotional. It was like it wasn't real at all. Like, something like that could happen to our family. And you hear about it in like the news and other people, that this is happening to us. And I just remember crying and holding my mom's hand and the hugs that everybody was giving us. And the pain. And just...
What was the pain?
somebody that I saw every single day that was like my father had been ripped from my life, and without a warning. Like, God wasn't like, hey, I'm gonna rip Eddie away from you this Friday. I just wanted to remember him the way that he looked the last time I saw him. And then we went to the waiting room, and as the day went on, it filled up more and more and more, and people that I hadn't seen in so many years were coming, and the support was amazing. It was just, people I didn't think that would know about it were there. People who didn't like me were showing love and support. I remember just sitting with like the youth, and it was like, even though a tragedy was happening, we were still able to laugh about stuff and have fun. And
come together as people, support each other.
yeah.
And who's a friend that really just became a real support for you through this?
Probably Erin.
Okay.
And she was always there, always making sure I was okay, and anything I needed, she helped me with, and she was there to talk to me, no matter what hour of the night it was, and she sticks out in my mind the most.
And what would you say as your words of wisdom if you were just trying to educate other people that haven't been down this journey, haven't ever had an experience like this?
Don't take anything for granted.
Okay.
You never know when it's somebody's last moment. You never know if it's the last time you're going to see somebody. And just always remember the words that you speak, because those could be your last words to that person.
Right.
Because the last time I saw Eddie, I fought with him. So.
And I was studying for a test, and then my guidance counselor came in, and she was like, "Can I use early dismissal?" I thought it was about my granddad. It's the first thing that came to mind. Got into the principal's office, and I saw Andy Sneed, and then I was like, why is he here? And then the principal was like, something terrible has happened to your stepdad. I was like, oh God. And then and I started crying automatically.
Well, I remember as soon as I was putting my books out, at that point, my reading teacher was like, Courtney, your mom's here to pick you up. So at that point I was like, okay, what's going on? So I started shaking, because at that point the first thing that came to mind was my granddad, and because was in the hospital when it happened. And when I went down there, I was like shaking the whole way down. I looked down there and I see Andy Sneed, and Christina and Kathleen. And I look over and I'm like, where's my mom? So we get into the truck, and like these crazy things were going through my mind. And Andy was like, so do you know what happened? I'm like, I have no clue what happened. Everything is going through my mind. I just don't know. So, you know when somebody says accident and you're thinking of a car accident? Well, Christina was like, and Eddie had just been in a bad car accident. So at that point I didn't cry, because I didn't know it was that bad. Because normally I thought he would like break a leg or break a neck or something. It was like everything was going through my mind. Like I was like terrified. Like, and I started crying. I was like, what's wrong? It's like Eddie got hit by a loading dock, and he already is dead, and his soul went up to heaven. I was like, oh my gosh. Like, I didn't know what to think.
Corey has been in a lot of different situations, a lot of trauma situations. He's seen a lot of difficult families go through things. So this was kind of like, in a way, what you do all the time. But obviously it had a big impact on you. So why don't you tell me how this was different than another trauma call that you've answered?
Well, I'll start by kind of square one. I was actually at the firehouse, and I heard about it. They said that lifeguard had landed in Salem for an accident at Walmart. I didn't know much about it, and later on that night, somebody heard that it was a Pepsi person, and later on that night, one of my other buddies in the fire department, which knew Christina, said, "Did you hear about Christina's stepdad?" I said, "No." And they said, he was hurt in a bad accident. And I put two and two together knowing that he worked for Pepsi, and I immediately called her and tried to find out, and they had told me that he had passed away through the people that are on the news. And I called her, and she said, "No, he's still alive." And this is at 11:30 at night. So we hopped in the truck and drove straight to the hospital.
So my memory of you is with your hamburgers and drinks that you had brought.
Yes, I made sure everybody ate well. So, yeah.
So what was it like in the waiting room, just spending time out there?
It was a lot of time, and there were a lot of memories. I remember coloring with Courtney, and we'd look out the window, and there was this one white dove. We would all look out there, and it'd be all these doves out there, and there was this one white dove that would just fly around the hospital, and we'd all watch him.
Huh.
And I thought that was real unique for the situation.
Tell me about the first time you saw Eddie.
I believe he was still intubated, and he was moving some, but not a whole lot. And I walked in, and I just kind of backed up to the wall because I didn't really know how to handle it. I'd seen patients like that before, but not somebody I'd known.
And what was it like back here at the house? Because you had some roles back here at the house.
Right.
It was kind of a balancing act.
It was a different time cooking and all that. I can't believe they trusted me to cook, but we had some hamburger helper, and it was better than ramen. So, but yeah, cooking and making sure that everything was taken care of with the dogs and all that, and helping them out as much as I could, and try to do anything and everything that Anita needed to take her mind off of things, because she had her mind set on one thing, and that was the main thing at that point. So.
How did it change you spiritually, this experience?
It kind of opened things up, which I hadn't been to church in a while before the accident, and I had gotten into the lifestyle with work and teaching and all that, and it kind of put things that you need to put God first and get back into it. And it showed me that miracles do happen, and it brought me to making the wristbands.
I love it very much now. My kids and church, especially church. This church has been awesome.
Oh, great. And we were just talking about the first time you came back to church. What went through your head as you walked into the church the first time?
It's mightier as alive. Because I didn't know that I'd ever see again. And I thought I was died.
You were talking about Anita in the hospital. What do you remember about being in the hospital with Anita?
She said every day loves so much.
Yeah, she was there every day. That's
yes.
right. Good.
Her and the kids. And
so what do those tears mean? Appreciation?
Yes. There's kids. Everything's so awesome. The best.
So tell me what's your goal now? What do you want to do now? What's your next thing that you want to accomplish?
Driving.
Do you remember when we played that song for you? Remember Free?
Yes. You're awesome.
What's that song mean to you?
I don't know so much. Me and my wife. We were married.
That was your old song, wasn't it?
Yes, sir. I love it so much.
If you could say something to everyone at church, what would you say? What words of wisdom would you give them?
God is perfect. I love God so much. And the church and my friends and sir, church is awesome.
Out a lot of money.